My name is Michelle Crisostomo, and I am a co-founder and president for Guåhan Sustainable Culture. And I also own a small microgreens farm called Tiny Greens Guam.
My name is David Crisostomo. I'm currently the Extension Associate Aquaculture Specialist with the Sea Grant program here at the University of Guam. I've been doing aquaculture for over 30 years with the Land Grant program, and took a little break, and now back with the Sea Grant program doing aquaculture again, trying to stimulate development.
I wouldn't say we're all a farming family, but my dad's been farming for as long as I can remember, or in agriculture. But I spent most of my life on the University of Guam because he was working at UOG. And I would follow him all the time to the hatcheries to feed the fish, and I even remember swimming in tilapia tanks when we were little.
Yeah, it's not a farming family per se in a commercial farming sense. I guess the interest in plants and animals, it's there, and I guess it's genetic. My whole life has been really interested in fish. And my earliest recollection is being maybe 13, 14. My parents got me my first aquarium, but that's just the starting step, I guess, and from there it's just escalated. And I went on to decide to pursue a degree in fisheries science as an undergraduate degree, and then came and worked at the university.
My dad, he already had a microgreens business. How long was it? 5,
I did
6
for
years?
about 3 years.
3 years, and then after that asked me to come and help out. And I didn't know anything about microgreens at the time, but he took me, through the process and trained me how to do it. From there, it just grew into something that I wanted to share with everybody, because I realized it's so easy to do this. And so that's when we started talking about education and coming up with classes and workshops, and then making it a nonprofit organization, and then expanding from there and teaching other people how to grow not just microgreens, but how to do like aquaculture or hydroponics and different things. So I think it all started with, tiny little microgreens for me, just learning how to grow my own food and learning how plants work, and then grew into something much more.
Here in Guam in the 90s and the early 2000s, the aquaculture industry started to decline. And then, of course, this year, COVID hit, and everybody's kind of at a standstill. Fortunately, food is never going to go out of style. Everybody has to eat. So in some ways, it's been an opportunity, not a blessing, but an opportunity for fish farmers or aquaculture people to get more involved. And that's been really supported by the federal administration and the local administration. How do we move this industry forward? It's been interesting, and right now the initial focus is going to be on recirculating aquaculture systems. We have one that was donated by LMS to the Sea Grant program here, and so we've gotten that operating. We're going to use that in some educational trainings. As we move forward in the aquaculture industry, we're looking at ocean-based systems. Ocean-based aquaculture is really a big move, and it's a natural for not just Guam but all the islands, because we're land poor compared to the ocean. We're very ocean rich or marine water rich, so we can utilize that, but it's a lot more complicated than just throwing a cage in the ocean. An awful lot of things that can happen and are possible for us here in the near future and the long future.
Getting older and having kids on my own, I realized how important it is, feeding them and teaching them how to fend for themselves and grow food for themselves. That really made me realize how important it was to have a more sustainable life.
that issue of feeding your own family has just really come up as a priority real recently for, I think, a lot of people, especially with the pandemic. But prior to that, it was more of a educational thrust of, hey, let's teach people this is such a basic need that I think everybody needs to know how to do. Just society and our culture sometimes pulls people away from that real basic need.
It's important culturally to, grow your food and learn how to grow your food and share that experience with others. Because in my experience, just learning how to grow my own food and, teaching my kids, we're able to share that food as well with others. So I think it helps not only build relationships in the community, but also help feed each other in your community. And so I think that that's important.